All right, so get this. We are going deep today, a total deep dive on alt season.
Ooh, Altseason.
Yeah, the crazy time in crypto where altcoins, but basically everything besides Bitcoin,
Right.
they just go wild,
They do.
pumping up in value like crazy. We're going to break it all down, dissecting these awesome excerpts we've got from Altseason, how to identify and maximize investment opportunities, and by the end of this, you'll have the knowledge, maybe even the power, to ride that alt season wave yourself.
What I think is really cool about Altseason is that it's not just like random price spikes,
Right.
It's like a window into this whole breathing, shifting, reacting crypto market.
Okay, I like that. I like that. But real quick, for anyone listening who's like, wait, crypto what? How would you define alt season just in plain English?
Okay, so imagine a garden.
Okay, I like.
Bitcoin, that's this huge oak tree.
Yeah, yeah.
And for a while, it's like hogging all the sunlight,
It's
and
kicking over.
all the growth. But then something shifts.
Hmm.
The oak, it kind of chills out, stabilizes.
Yeah.
And suddenly, bam, all these other plants, that's our altcoins.
Yeah.
They're shooting up. They want their share. That, my friend, is alt season. When altcoins, as a group, they're outperforming Bitcoin. And we're talking often, by a lot.
So it's like suddenly the underdogs have their moment.
Exactly.
They're shining.
Yeah. And for investors, this is where it gets good.
Uh-huh.
Like really good. This is where you can make some serious games.
All right, now we're talking. But how do we know when this whole thing is about to kick off? Is there like a secret signal, some alt season bat signal in the sky?
Not a bad signal, no, but there are definitely signs, things you can watch for.
Okay.
One of the biggest ones is you got to watch Bitcoin dominance. So basically, how much of the entire crypto market is just Bitcoin? When that number drops, especially if it goes below 50%, that's a sign. It's like investors are saying, okay, Bitcoin, you're cool and all, but what else is out there?
So it's less about Bitcoin failing and more about spreading the love.
You got it. That confidence, it can come from two main Bitcoin scenarios. One, Bitcoin's had its massive surge and now it's just kind of plateauing at a high price.
Okay.
The market's like, all right, Bitcoin's chilling, time to diversify.
Like a ripple effect.
Exactly.
Bitcoin jumps in the pool, makes a splash, and then that energy, it flows outward.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Now, the other scenario is when Bitcoin's still climbing, still going up, but it's more of a moderate pace.
Okay.
It's steady. This kind of growth, it reassures people. They're more comfortable branching out.
So a stable upward Bitcoin trend, that can be a sign too?
It can. It all comes back to psychology, really.
Mm-hmm.
Investors, they're more likely to explore when the whole market feels healthy, less like a roller coaster.
All right, so we've got declining Bitcoin dominance and a well-behaved Bitcoin. What else should we watch for?
Keep your eyes on the big established altcoins, the ones with a track record.
Like Ethereum.
Ethereum.
Right,
Exactly.
Chris? Binance Coin.
Yeah, those are your canaries in the coal mine.
Oh, I like that. So they start pumping, and it's like, hey, maybe the whole altcoin party's about to get started.
Exactly. They're usually the first ones to move, often because of some real-world development, some upgrade in their tech.
But it's not just the big players, right? I mean, what about those smaller altcoins, the ones that are still under the radar?
Ah, yes, those are the wild cards. When they start exploding, especially the meme coins, the ones with more hype than actual use, that can actually be a sign that we're nearing the peak of alt season.
It's like the party's getting a little too crazy.
Exactly.
Everyone's piling in, maybe not even understanding what they're buying.
That's when FOMO, that fear of missing out, it takes over. People make irrational decisions, buy high, and then when the price drops, panic sets in. Not good.
So it's not just chasing hype, it's about understanding what's actually driving the price, right?
You got it.
And speaking of drivers, our source material, it really emphasizes narratives.
Oh, absolutely. Each alt season, it's usually got this dominant story behind it, some new tech, a trend, something that captures everyone's imagination.
Like DeFi.
DeFi, exactly. Metaverse, AI, these narratives, they become almost self-fulfilling.
It's like the whole market gets swept up in this belief that this is it. This is the next big thing.
Exactly. And that belief, it drives investment, which drives the price up. So understanding these narratives, figuring out which ones are here to stay and which ones are just hype, that's key to spotting the altcoins with real potential.
Okay, so we've got our 4 signs, right? Bitcoin dominance dipping, Bitcoin either stable or growing steadily, big altcoins making moves, smaller coins joining the party, all driven by these powerful narratives.
Exactly.
It's like piecing together a puzzle.
And once you understand how those pieces fit, you start to see the bigger picture. the crypto market cycle.
Ooh, okay. And that's a topic I definitely want to explore further.
Well,
So how does this alt season thing fit into the overall ebb and flow of the crypto market?
the crypto market, it moves in cycles, much like, the seasons of the year.
Okay.
And each season or phase has its own characteristics.
All right, I'm hooked. Let's dive into those cycles when we come back for part 2 of our alt season deep dive. Okay, so we're back and I'm ready to dive into these crypto seasons. You had me picturing Bitcoin in like a Santa hat for winter,
Uh-huh. Right.
maybe rocking some shades for summer.
Well, keep those images in mind because they might actually be helpful.
Okay.
The crypto market cycle, it really does have these distinct phases that people compare to, the seasons.
Uh-huh.
So first, we've got the Bitcoin bull run. Think of it like spring.
Okay.
Everything's coming alive. Bitcoin's leading the charge. Prices are soaring. It's getting all the attention, all the investment.
So Bitcoin's time to bloom, like soak up all that spring energy.
Exactly. But just like spring eventually gives way to summer, this Bitcoin frenzy, it eventually settles down. We call it Bitcoin consolidation. Growth slows down, things stabilize, but at a higher price, right? That volatility, it calms down a bit.
So Bitcoin takes a breather after all that intense growth.
Yeah, like lays out on a beach towel, catches some rays.
I like it.
And this is where things get really interesting for altcoins.
Okay.
This Bitcoin consolidation, this summertime lull, this is what sets the stage for alt season.
So while Bitcoin's chilling, altcoins are plotting their takeover.
You could say that. Investors, they see Bitcoin stabilizing and they start looking for assets with, higher growth potential.
Makes sense.
They want to diversify, explore new opportunities. That's when altcoins get their moment.
Got it. But this party can't last forever, right? What happens after the altcoin fun?
Well, summer eventually fades into autumn, right? So the market enters this phase of correction and capital rotation. It's like harvest time.
Okay.
Investors start taking profits from their alt season wins. And that can lead to, some price drops.
Things cool down a bit.
Yeah, some people cash out. Maybe others get a little nervous. And the market kind of rebalances.
Makes sense.
And a lot of that capital, it often flows back into Bitcoin,
Right.
Bitcoin's seen as the safe haven when things get uncertain. And then the whole cycle begins again.
Wow, it really is like this natural cycle back and forth between Bitcoin and altcoins.
It is. And understanding that cyclical nature, that's key to navigating the crypto market.
So it's not about predicting exactly when things will happen. It's more about recognizing where we are in the cycle.
Exactly. You got to read the signs, manage risk, make smart decisions based on, what the market's doing.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So let's say we've spotted those alt season signals. What are some practical strategies for riding that wave without, getting completely wiped out?
The golden rule, I can't stress this enough, is diversification.
Right. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Spread your investments across different altcoins, different sectors even.
So kind of like diversifying your stock portfolio, but in the crypto world?
That's a good way to think about it. You wouldn't put all your money into a single stock.
Right.
Same principle applies here.
Got it. Diversification, check. What else?
Just as important as diversifying is managing risk. Crypto, it's volatile. And alt season, it can magnify those swings. You got to protect your capital, even if it means giving up some potential gains.
So how do we actually manage risk in this like wild west of alt season?
One tool you can use is stop loss orders. You set a price, and if your altcoin dips below that, it sells automatically.
So it limits your losses.
Exactly. It's like insurance on your investment. Another strategy is taking profits gradually. As your altcoins go up, it's tempting to hold on, hope for more, but locking in profits along the way, that can protect your winnings.
Don't get greedy. A bird in the hand, right?
Two in the bush, exactly. And speaking of getting caught up in the moment, we got to talk about FOMO.
Oh, the fear of missing out. I know that feeling all too well.
Especially during all seasons, like everyone's making money except you.
Yeah, it's like seeing a huge line outside a club and you just have to get in even if you have no idea what's going on inside.
Perfect analogy. FOMO, it leads to bad decisions. You buy high out of fear and then panic when the price drops.
So how do we resist that FOMO urge? Make smarter choices.
One way is to use analytical tools. Platforms like TradingView, CoinGecko, they give you all this data on market trends, prices, everything.
It's like having your own team of analysts.
Exactly. And don't forget about Bitcoin dominance. Keep watching that throughout alt season. It can signal shifts in the market, help you anticipate changes.
Like our compass, guiding us through it all. This is all super helpful. But the question on everyone's mind is, When is the next alt season? Do you have a crystal ball hidden somewhere?
If I did, we'd be on my private island right now. No one can predict the exact timing of alt season for sure.
Right, no magic crystal ball. But are there any hints we can look for to get a sense of when things might, heat up again?
Absolutely. We can't pinpoint the date, but there are indicators, developments that often come before an alt season.
Lay it on me. What should we be watching for?
First, keep an eye on Bitcoin, our trusty bellwether. If it breaks those all-time highs and then kind of chills out, that's a good sign for altcoins.
So Bitcoin makes a big move, then takes a break. Got it. What else?
Watch for advancements in the Ethereum network. It's the foundation for a lot of altcoins. So upgrades, more people using it, that can spill over to the rest of the altcoin market.
So Ethereum's like the foundation of the altcoin house. If it gets stronger, the whole house benefits. Anything else for our watch list?
Keep an eye on market liquidity. More money flowing into crypto usually means higher demand, maybe higher prices.
More money, more opportunity for altcoins to ride that wave. What about the big players, like institutions? Do they matter?
Absolutely. If institutions start getting interested in altcoins, that's a big deal.
Okay.
Big companies, hedge funds, even pension funds, putting some of their portfolio into crypto. That brings in a lot of capital and legitimizes the whole space.
So it's not just us regular folks anymore. The big guys are starting to see the potential.
That's right.
This is all fascinating stuff. I feel like we've just scratched the surface of this whole alt season thing.
There's so much more to explore. That's what makes it so exciting. It's constantly evolving, throwing curveballs, rewarding those who are, willing to learn and adapt.
So stay curious, keep learning, and be ready for anything.
You got it.
This has been an awesome deep dive into alt season. We've covered a lot.
We have.
From the basics of altcoins and market cycles to those crazy narratives that are shaping the future.
It's been great sharing all of this.
Before we wrap up part 2, I want to leave everyone with a question. What emerging narratives in the crypto space are you most excited about? What altcoins are you watching? Think about it. We'll be back for the final part of our alt season deep dive after a quick break.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our alt season journey. And man, my brain is still buzzing with all this info on market cycles and those signs to watch for.
It is a lot to take in.
It's like learning a whole new language.
Yeah.
Decoding the crypto matrix. It kind of is, yeah. The more you understand how things work, the more the market starts to make sense,
Exactly. But even with all these indicators, it sounds like predicting the exact timing of the next alt season. It's still a bit of a guessing game.
It is. There are just so many factors, right? Like technology is always changing, regulations are shifting.
Right.
The global economy, even like what's trending on social media, it can all have an impact.
So it's like a constant dance, adapting and trying to stay ahead of the curve. No wonder people get so into this.
Yeah, it's definitely not boring. But for those who are willing to put in the time, do the research, manage the risk, the potential is huge.
Okay, so let's talk about those potential rewards. Our source material breaks down these specific altcoin categories, right? Each one driven by a different story, a different tech innovation. This is where things get really fascinating for me.
For sure. Understanding those narratives, those stories, that's how you find the altcoins that have real staying power. One category that's been making a lot of noise lately is decentralized finance. DeFi, for short.
DeFi, yeah. That's the one that's all about like recreating those traditional financial services, but on the blockchain.
Exactly. Lending, borrowing, trading, all without those banks and middlemen.
It could totally change how we think about money, right? Make those financial services way more accessible, transparent, efficient.
That's the goal. And we're seeing this whole ecosystem of DeFi altcoins popping up.
So it's not just one DeFi coin to rule them all.
Right. It's a whole bunch of projects within that category, each one with its own unique thing going on.
So got to do your research, understand what each project is all about before investing.
Exactly. What problem are they trying to solve? What makes them stand out? Who's behind the project? All those questions are super important.
Due diligence, key in this space, especially. Okay, so DeFi's on the radar. What other altcoin categories are people watching these days?
Another big one is the metaverse. This idea of a persistent, immersive digital world. It's still early, but the potential is huge.
The metaverse, it's everywhere these days. But how does that translate into investing?
Well, think about all the things that would make up a digital world. Virtual real estate, digital assets, games, ways to interact socially.
Right.
Even their own economies with their own currencies. All of that needs tech, needs platforms, and that's where altcoins come in.
So instead of buying land in the real world, you might invest in a metaverse platform where you can buy and develop virtual land.
Exactly. Or maybe you invest in the altcoin that powers in-game purchases, or the one that makes transactions happen smoothly in that virtual economy. The possibilities are crazy.
I'm starting to see how each of these narratives, it's like a whole new world of investment opportunities. Each altcoin category is like a window to a different future.
I like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking of the future, we can't forget about AI.
AI and crypto, that's a powerful combo.
It is. It's a newer space, but it could be totally game-changing.
We touched on this a bit earlier, but let's go deeper. What are some examples of how AI and crypto are actually working together?
Well, one really interesting thing is decentralized AI platforms. Imagine a network of AI algorithms that no single person or company controls. Anyone can use them. That could change everything, from medical research to climate modeling.
Democratizing AI, that's powerful.
It is. We're also seeing AI-powered trading tools popping up. These platforms use machine learning to analyze market data, spot patterns, make trades, maybe even better than humans can.
So it's like having this super smart trading assistant working 24/7.
Exactly. And then there are DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations, basically organizations run by code. Decisions are made by algorithms, not humans.
Whoa, a company run by an AI.
It's a wild concept, but it could make organizations way more efficient, more transparent, more democratic.
This is all mind-blowing. DeFi, the metaverse, AI, and crypto. The altcoin world is changing so fast.
It is exciting, but it's a lot to keep up with. There's always something new to learn.
Stay curious, keep learning, and adapt as the market changes.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This deep dive, it's just a taste of what's out there.
We've given our listeners the map. Now it's up to them to choose their own adventure.
Exactly. The world of altcoins, it's vast. There are risks, but for those willing to explore, the potential is huge.
This has been an awesome deep dive into Altseason. We've covered so much. The basics of altcoins, market cycles, those narratives that are shaping the future. It's been a blast.
I agree.
Before we go, I want to leave everyone with one last thought. What emerging narratives in the crypto space are you most excited about? What altcoins are you keeping an eye on? Take what you've learned, keep exploring, and stay curious.
The future of finance, the internet, maybe even society as we know it,
Yeah.
it might just be written in the code of these innovative altcoins.
That's a wrap on this episode of The Deep Dive. Until next time, happy exploring.